Good morning. It's so nice to be with you again today. This is Morning Grace with Tammy, and I appreciate all of you watching. My devotion for today is Leave the Flip-Flops Behind. I've just got home from another wonderful Emmaus weekend. Wow, God showed up in many, many ways. We may not know what the people there need, but He does, and He's always there. And He showed up for me and everyone else. Well, so I've been sitting here reflecting on the weekend. And wow, it was great. Well, something kind of funny, kind of serious hit me. I didn't get hurt this time. One time I fell up the stairs. Yes, that's what I said. I fell up the stairs. And I hurt my shoulder. It took almost like a year for when I moved it for it not to pop. Then another time I broke my toe. So this may not sound like much to you, but it is for me. But this time, nothing. And then it clicked. I have a pair of flip-flops that I wear in the shower. That's why I was wearing back and forth to my cabin. I didn't wear them this time. Because after getting hurt twice, I finally figured out they were the problem. And that got me to thinking. How many times do we keep doing the same thing over and over before we finally realize what's tripping us up? Sometimes it's not flip-flops. Sometimes it's our attitude, our habits, our choices, some relationships, but things that God has already nudged us about. He's already told us, don't do that anymore. Don't go there. You need to separate yourself from them. But we didn't listen. Sometimes we hold on to things in our lives, bad habits, hurts, even relationships, that we know it's not good for us. I mean, deep down, we know this is not what I should be doing. We know that it's going to trip us up and cause problems, slow us down, or maybe even hurt us. Just like those old flip-flops. But we keep choosing them anyway. Not because they're right, but because they're easy. Because they're comfortable and because it's familiar. And I want to add something. Sometimes because of fear. Because if you leave that thing or you stop doing that thing, what are you going to do? You're afraid. With those flip-flops, we're always right there. I've had them for years. I didn't have to think about it. I could just slip them on. Never mind, I've had them for years. They're worn out. And because I use them as shower shoes, they're wet. It wasn't the best choice, but it was the easiest choice. And if we're honest, we do that same thing in our lives. Out of habit, out of laziness, out of comfort, out of fear. We allow things to stay that we don't belong anymore. And just because something is easy doesn't mean it's right. And just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's meant to stay. God calls us to something better. Hebrews 12:1. Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Those flip-flops, they were a hindrance. I still use them, but only in the shower. And in the same way, anything in our lives that keeps us from moving forward with God, it can be being at a church that you know doesn't feel right anymore and you're not growing. It can be in relationships. It can be something that in itself is not a sin. Sitting down and watching TV because you're tired and it's easy. I'm talking to myself right now. But what is that keeping me from doing? Sitting down binge watching Food Network. What is that keeping me from? So sometimes we need to let things go. Because we can't run the race God has set before us if we're still clinging to things that trip us up. So I'd like to end in prayer. Lord, thank you for loving me enough to show me the things that are holding me back. Help me recognize the habits, the attitudes, and choices that trip me up, even when they feel comfortable or familiar. Give me the strength to let go of what is easy but not right, and the courage to choose what leads me closer to you. Help me throw off anything that hinders me so I can walk and run the path you have set before me. So I pray you'll listen to God. Listen to him and do what he says. It's not just good enough to read the word, but we've got to do it too. God bless you and have a great day.